And I have worked with farmers and peasants who went back and recultivated the land that had been appropriated earlier. We have succeeded in preventing the diversion of the Ganga water to Delhi for privatization. We stopped that privatization 2 years ago. We call our movement the movement for water democracy. And this movement is very, very involved now in defending the Ganges, without which India cannot live. That beautiful river that starts in my region carries with it such fertile silt that has built the most fertile soils anywhere in the world. If you look at the high density of population in the Ganges basin, it's because this fertile soil could support it over centuries of farming. But there are two threats to the Ganges. One is it gets dammed up for water as well as hydroelectricity, and then the river doesn't flow. And the other is that the water that runs in the Ganges in the summertime when we have no rain comes from the melting of the glacier, which is receding at 13 meters a year because of global warming. And we know that India lives if the Ganges lives, and India dies if the Ganges dies. We know that. And this revolution that is needed has to be necessarily a revolution at all levels. At the local level, the protection of water, the conservation of water, anticipating the decreased availability of water and adapting to it. At the national level, policies that promote conservation rather than commodification. And at the international level, linking the climate issue, the agriculture issue, the water issue into one issue of protecting the fabric of life on this planet. And the only reason I put my nose into economics is it's telling too many lies now. So, you know, one lie is India is becoming an economic superpower with 9% growth. I spent time counting the 200,000 farmers who've had to take their lives because the new globalized agriculture increases the costs of production while robbing them of their incomes. We cannot be a superpower if our farmers are being killed by the global economy. And that's why I've started a whole campaign to stop the suicides by promoting organic farming, local seeds, and a new campaign on fibers of freedom, because it's genetically engineered cotton that's killing our farmers. Now, all this is called a free market, but look how coercive it is. It begins with $4 billion of cotton subsidies in the United States to artificially lower the prices of cotton. And then that artificially cheap cotton that's grown in India with prices depressed is shipped off to China to make cheap jeans and cheap shirts by exploiting the labor and the water. And then the Chinese dump their products all over the world, destroying production wherever it is. Italian textiles, Indian textiles. And the vicious cycle of a downward spiral of everyone's security and quality of life keeps going down. And with it goes down the status of the planet and the health of the planet. The challenge really is to match the economy to nature's laws, which means sustainability, and to the laws of society and the well-being of people, which we call democracy. We are being shrunk in our humanity. I am because I consume. We have to enlarge our consciousness to recognize we are because we conserve the earth. We are because we are able to make things, think through decisions. That is the challenge, to be able to bring back conservation to our responsibility. Now, you can destroy long distance. You know, the US can decide and bomb Iraq. That's a decision made in Washington, and Iraq and Afghanistan suffer. But conservation and creativity can only happen locally, because it's a relationship with our particular body of water, our particular forest, our particular land. A narrow-minded economic globalization was sold as the religion of the last decade. We are now at the watershed where we have to reduce our footprint, therefore localize production to the extent possible, while we expand our sense of who we are to a planetary status, that we are citizens of one common earth. We've had dictatorships before. This is a new kind of dictatorship. We find new ways to regain freedom and redefine democracy. It's a challenge we have, a challenge we cannot forego, because this time freedom is about staying alive.